Here we go again, the lamestream media trying to gaslight us.
Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right?
I suggest Ed over there tune in because we've got the receipts. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. So I think one of perhaps my only favorite Black History Month traditions, because it's like, do we have a White History Month? Like, why are we doing this? This seems performative. So like one of the only bright lights in all of these Black History Month traditions is the media ever since President Trump's first term. Actually, as he was moving into that first term, is the media going out of their way to call President Trump racist. He's a terrible racist and also literally Hitler. There was a moment during the White House press briefing where CBS correspondent Ed O'Keefe asked this to Caroline Leavitt yesterday. Watch.
Yesterday, in his statement about Jesse Jackson, the president said, despite the fact that I'm falsely and consistently called a racist by the scoundrels and lunatics on the radical left, Democrats all, it was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right? I will pull you plethora of examples. I'm going to get my team in that room to start going through the internet of radical Democrats throughout the years, Ed, who have accused this president falsely of being a racist. And I'm sure there's many people in this room and on network television across the country who have accused him of the same. In fact, I know that because I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yep, that was quite the question. You know, Caroline Leavitt is honestly, I can't think of a press secretary that I find to be, but well, Sean Spicer is my friend. I don't want to offend. Sean Spicer is one of the greatest. But Caroline Leavitt got to be up there as one of the best press secretaries we've ever had. She always has an answer for everything. She never stumbles on her words. I don't think I can recall ever seeing her taken aback like she was in response to that ridiculous question.
Where or when does the president believe he's been falsely called racist?
You're kidding, right? I will pull you plethora of examples.
She couldn't even hide it. It's just such a ridiculous question. Like, I'm sorry, what? For the last 10 years, time after time after time again? Just all of those times? Next question? So I feel like I just need to make this show just my whole show should just turn into how the media tries to gaslight you into thinking you're the crazy ones. Because, this is low-hanging fruit at this point, okay? This is not hard to find. It's not hard to go out there and grab all of the times that he's falsely accused of being a racist. So let's just go ahead and roll the tapes.
This is CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lemon. The President of the United States is racist. A lot of us already knew that.
He is a tried and true, dyed-in-the-wool racist.
I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist.
What Trump has always been was a rich, malevolent, really racist man.
We now have a president of the United States who is a racist.
President Trump is a racist?
Yeah. No question.
Donald Trump, what's it say?
I think he's a racist.
He is a racist.
The president is a racist.
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 He is a thin-skinned racist bully.
He has been racist.
There has never been a president in American history who's been openly racist.
Racist in chief.
Coming
The president
from him,
oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric.
All the phobics, racist. I love Joe Biden actually weighing in. The guy who's like, you ain't black unless you vote for me. Also the guy who was like, we can't expect black people to understand how to get on the computer, look up how to get a COVID vaccine. We can't trust black people to be able to know how to go get an ID. They're too damn dumb. But somehow, some way, President Trump is definitely the racist one. Definitely the racist one. Now, I realize what Ed O'Keefe is trying to do here. He's trying to say, well, he's never been falsely accused. We were always dead on the money with that. And to that point, Ed O'Keefe himself called President Trump a racist. He said, watch, President Trump receives backlash and support over his racist tweets. Is racist. It's racist to say that these third world countries are shitholes. It's racist to say that, Somalia is garbage. You're not allowed to acknowledge reality. You're not allowed to acknowledge, hey, by the way, if you call out Somalian fraudsters, also racist. It's like, it's incredible the lengths that they will go, the mental gymnastics that they will perform in order to call this man racist. Now, the most recent one is President Trump posted the other day honoring Jesse Jackson, who died this week. He said, the Reverend Jesse Jackson is dead at 84. I knew him well long before becoming president. He was a good man with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts. He was truly gregarious, someone who truly loved people, despite the fact that I am falsely and consistently called a racist by the scoundrels and lunatics on the radical left. Democrats, all. It was always my pleasure to help Jesse along the way. Now, I mean, I've heard President Trump say much more mean things about people after they died. Like, even ones that I was like, maybe not today. maybe give it a couple weeks maybe before you do that. And it's just like, that was very nice. It was very kind. He's said much worse. Even then, the media spinned it, against him. He can't say a nice thing about a former friend who just died without it being spun out of context. Without it being like, you're not allowed to say nice things about black people, you're racist. Like, what? Wait a second. It almost feels like you put me in a place where I can never win. Because if I'm friends with black people and I say nice things about them, you say that it's because I'm racist. And then if I'm like, I'm not friends with black people, you'll be like, you're racist. Why don't you have black friends? So I just want to make sure you guys are clear. It's not just President Trump, by the way, it extends to you. You're never gonna be able to win in this stupid little game if you are trying to defend yourself against the accusation that you're racist. So people called him out for sharing all these photos of him and Jesse Jackson, who was his longtime friend. I'm not racist. I have black friends. No, Donald Trump, we are not our parents. Posting a flurry of Reverend Jesse Jackson pictures doesn't redeem you and your supporters from being racist. So remember, now you are also racist because you support President Trump. I mean, you could have voted for a black woman. You didn't. Why is that? You must be racist. You must be racist. That's why it's like they're going to continue this rhetoric until everyone is beaten in the ground with it. It's absurd. The level of Trump derangement syndrome in this country still, I honestly thought, I honestly was like, he won. They're going to have to get over it. They're going to know that this is his last term. Can y'all get back to normal? Can we all get over this together? Can your brains somehow start working again? And I regret to inform you, I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'd like to just go ahead and put in front of you, set the record straight. He's a giant racist. He's so racist. By the way, you're racist too for supporting him over Kamala Harris. Let's just see how Jesse Jackson himself spoke of Trump.
I now want to bring forth a friend who, when we opened this Wall Street project and we talked about it, he gave us space at 40 Wall Street, which was to make a statement about our having a presence there. And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. Who's an effective builder of building for the builder people. Last year he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Well, it is an honor to be here, and I was with Jesse last year, and we had a lot of fun, and it was a little different. Jesse started off by saying, most of the wealth in this country is in the hands of a few. And I thought to myself, is that a bad thing? What's wrong with that, Jesse? And he said, listen, I want some office space in your building on Wall Street, because the wall on wall will fall. And I said, it's okay, Jesse, I'll make a good deal with you. I'll get you some space. You'll pay about $40 a foot. And he said, no, I don't want to pay 40. I said, how about 30? No. It was the cheapest deal I ever made in the history of 40 Wall Street. Is that right? He got it for nothing. He's a very tough negotiator. You know that, right? Nah, he's a terrific guy. We love him, and I'm here for him. And I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is black and minority folks.
Wow. I don't think I'm going to be able to recover after all of those racist remarks. You're that racist rhetoric? Oh my gosh. Helping the NAACP? Helping Jesse Jackson? Boy, whew. If President Trump is a racist, he's doing it very wrong. I've always said with all of these accusations against President Trump for being racist, he is the worst racist in history, if that's true. He's the worst one. I mean, he was rapped about in rap songs before he ran for president as a Republican. Like, he has a very long history of black people in America actually loving him, singing about him, talking about him. They thought he was the coolest until there was an R in front of his name. And then everyone had to hate him. And then we all had to pretend like he's definitely a racist. He's the worst racist ever. Don't ask for receipts. We can't show you how he's a racist except for, oh, look at me. He has black friends. He must be racist. Like, they don't even hear themselves. Of course that's not true. And by the way, how tempered does the president have to be? Like, I get it. He has his moments and he will lash out at the mainstream media. And by the way, rightfully so. But you have to be a very tempered man to actually live an authentic life. Like, he's living an authentic life. He has these friends. He clearly was friends with Jesse Jackson for a very long time. He shared a positive relationship with him. And to not be able to just go out on your own social media and give tribute to someone who was your friend after they've died without all of these random people calling you a racist must be really awful. Like, I mean, I understand the amount of hate that I get, and I'm not the president of the United States. So hats off to him that he doesn't just walk around with a massive chip on his shoulder all the time, knowing that he cannot share anything without it being twisted and turned and having him called basically Satan. What a life. Now, as he's being called racist, he hosted Black History Month, Black History Month event at the White House again. You know, because he hates black people so much, he wants to invite them into his home. Because that's normally what you do if you hate black people. Now, remember, the left would say, well, that's because he just doesn't want you to think he's racist. I know. I get it. I know. He can't win. If he celebrates it, he's racist. If he doesn't celebrate it, he's racist. There's no winning. There's no winning here. Be that as it may, he had Black History Month event, the Black History Month event at the White House again. And boy, let me tell you, for a racist, he does really well with this black community. Let me play you what this one grandmother had to say about him.
Come on in.
First of all,
Thank
can I have a hug?
Yes, you can. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. That's so nice. I like her.
Oh my gosh, that racist just hugged a black woman.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real, just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared, and that we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news, hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
Wow, he is doing racism really wrong because he's actually winning over black people. If you recall, during his last administration, he put more minorities back to work. He was setting records. It's just like he's the worst racist ever. He also, you guys may recall the name Alice Johnson. She was someone who was serving time, and he pardoned her. And his whole thing was working to help wrongfully convicted black people and to help not just wrongfully convicted, but also people who were convicted and the time that they were serving was just absurd for what the crime was that they committed. And we found that a disproportionate amount of black people were serving disproportionate amounts of time. And so President Trump was like, we need prison reform. We need reform on that. That's not fair. And Alice Johnson was one of the ones that he was working with on that. Here is what she had to say.
This president right here, President Donald Trump, brought me from the prison pit to the White House. Only in America there be a story like my story. And President Trump is the only president who would have the courage to bring someone like me, someone who received a second chance, but who knows more than someone who is sit among the captives, than someone who has been in captivity themselves.
The list goes on. There's a mom whose son died, and she had this to say on School Choice.
And I'm so grateful to ACE scholarships and all the doors that the president is opening for education. My son was in a school that he didn't have any voice, and he found drugs in school, and he died. And so I'm here today to just show my appreciation for all the moms around the world. We have a choice now. We were locked in a cage. And being locked in a cage and can't get out. And because of all of the things that you're doing for education, now we can get out and soar. Our children can have a chance to be prosperous, just like other children. And I thank you for that. This is a great opportunity. So on behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I stand here and I give you your flowers while you can still get them. Thank you. I appreciate you. Give me a hand.
And that's just it. That's just it. President Trump has never seen color or race. He just wants all Americans to have opportunity. And unfortunately, it's the black community that has been held back by Democrat leadership for so long. It's like they can't comprehend it until it's right in front of them. And then they're like, oh my gosh, this man is doing so much for us because he just believes that America can be better in American exceptionalism. And I'll just end it with this. For a racist, seems kind of weird that all these black people would hate him so much that they would be chanting this. Like they want a third term for President Donald J. Trump, and somehow Ed O'Keefe hasn't gotten the memo that he's not racist. He never has been. He doesn't have a racist bone in his body. You guys just have bastardized the word so that it no longer has meaning. Make sure to subscribe to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Smash the like button and comment. It'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. And you can go over to Sara Gonzales TX. We just created a new YouTube account. We're releasing exclusive content over there. And we're also experimenting with something. So help us out by going over to subscribe at Sara Gonzales TX. Want to thank our sponsor this segment, Patriot Mobile. So I have some fun stuff to share with you about Patriot Mobile coming very, very soon. We're still kind of tying up some loose ends, but they are, golly, their company, Glenn and Jenny Story, have created just the most tremendous company because not only are you, when you go over to Patriot Mobile and you use their cell phone service, not only are you getting quality, exceptional cell phone coverage, all three major networks. They all share the same towers. I don't know if you guys realize this. They all share the same towers. So you're getting the same nationwide service that you depend on now, but you are also spending your money with a company that is going to take a portion of your bill, and they're going to donate it to causes that you believe in, to pro-life causes, to gun rights causes, to, help flip school boards in your area. They are really putting their money where their mouths are. They are at like every single grassroots activist, dinner, organization. They are always there. I see them out everywhere because they really, truly do believe in the cause, and they are putting their money where their mouths are. As I said, you're probably going to save money if you go over there too. So go to patriotmobile.com/Sara. You can use promo code Sara for a free month of service. That is patriotmobile.com/Sara. Well, it turns out you do an expose on H-1B visa fraud that's seen by millions of people, and things start happening in that world. Things start, there's a lot happening right now with regard to cracking down on visa fraud. A lot of people, they're asking me what's next, what's going on isn't fraud, all these different things that people try to tell me. My favorite, though, is you have it backwards. You're the one who's too stupid to understand this isn't actually fraud. Might I present to you these cases? ICE arrests Indian couple in Texas smuggling case. An alien from India ran a large human smuggling operation in Texas, the agency posted. He and his spouse were apprehended at our Houston office by ICE on charges of human smuggling, document fraud, and overstaying their visa. Human traffickers will be caught and held accountable. So again, I have argued this entire time that I have been on this, and the more emails that I get and the more tips that we get and the more you look into this, you realize this is also a human trafficking situation. So I love that they went to the human trafficking angle, but you notice in this press release that I just showed you, every time they're like, oh, yeah, thank you. They're like, it's not fraud. It's not fraud. It's not fraud. Oh, what's that word that I see right there? Document fraud. So if you're making up false documents to try to get yourself a visa, the whole thing is fraud, which is right there in that sentence in the middle of your screen. So turns out there is fraud. And I can tell you there's a bunch of it. There's a lot of it. A lot of what we're seeing out there is fraud and human smuggling, even if the employees are active participants in this, because they're bringing them in here. They're pledging that they're getting paid a particular wage, and then they are skimming off the top, a lot off the top, actually, to enrich themselves and the employee who is desperate to be in this country. Now, I'm not saying that they are not responsible for their own choices, and if they have committed fraud and they have committed crimes, they should be held accountable. But you understand the reasoning why, right? So even if the employees are active participants in this, I mean, you had illegals who were active participants in being smuggled across the border. It's still human smuggling. It's still human trafficking. Same rules apply here. This still has real world consequences as well. Let me give you another case that just recently popped up. 2 Texas residents operating a visa racket indicted for visa fraud, money laundering, and RICO conspiracy. So according to the indictment, Abdul Hadi and some guy named Muhammad, the law offices of D. Robert Jones, PLLC, and Reliable Ventures Inc. engaged in a scheme to commit visa fraud. There's that pesky word again, visa fraud, to enrich themselves and others and to cause individuals to fraudulently obtain entry and immigration status into the United States. As part of the scheme, the indictment alleges that the defendants exploited the EB-2, EB-3, and there it is, H-1B visa programs. Specifically, the defendants caused classified advertisements to be placed in a daily periodical for non-existent jobs. These advertisements were placed in order to satisfy a Department of Labor requirement to offer the position to the United States citizens before hiring foreign nationals. Once they received the fraudulently obtained certification from the Department of Labor, the defendants filed a petition to USCIS to obtain an immigrant visa for the visa seekers. And at the time the petitions were submitted, the defendants also submitted an application for legal permanent residence so that the visa seekers could obtain a green card. Oh, wow. It's almost like that's happening a whole bunch. Now, according to the indictment, to make the non-existent jobs look legitimate, the defendants received payment from visa seekers, then returned a portion of the money back to the visa seekers as purported payroll. Now, I love this particular tidbit because I keep going. Where is I know that there is real money being listed on all of these Department of Labor filings for these visa applications and visa jobs. I mean, like $90,000, $100,000, and a ton of them for a small business that doesn't even know how to make a website work. Like they've got the shittiest websites you've ever seen. And somehow they're like multi-million-dollar companies that can afford to bring in all these people and pay them. And I'm like, there's a money exchange happening. How is that happening? Now we see the rest of the story. The DOJ also continued, if convicted, the defendants face up to 20 years in federal prison, and Murshid faces denaturalization if convicted of unlawfully obtaining and attempting to obtain his United States citizenship. I love that for him. I say much more, because that's what is happening in all of these. These H-1Bs and these H-4s are coming in, and they are coming in. The H-1B has to work in his particular job, but he brings the H-4, his dependent, in on a visa, the H-4 visa, and then initially can't work. Eventually, if she applies, she can work, and then she can create a whole bunch of shell companies, a whole bunch of companies that are not actually doing real work, and then they bring in more H-1Bs. There's just a problem. There's a problem with this, because unless you're a scammer, once you become a green card holder or an American citizen, a naturalized citizen, unless you're becoming that, like those people who are becoming naturalized citizens who are not scammers are aware of the fraud because they're looking around them and they're going, I'm Indian, but I'm an American citizen now, and I can't get the jobs that I was getting before because the scammers are only hiring H-1Bs. This is all about to come to a boiling point, my friends. Everyone is seeing it all around you. I am getting emails from the American Indian community, or I should say Indian American community, every day. By the way, this is sort of a preview of what I'm covering in my next expose. I'm trying really hard not to spill the beans on so many things that we're working on. And I mean, even just the developments today are incredible. But this kind of thing is happening all out in the open. They're posting ads like this in their group chats or online. Documents, editing services, H-1B, visa, driver's license with a +91 country code that you can contact. Any guesses? Do you have any guesses what the +91 country code is? What country that is? That you can contact them to get falsified documents, to get fraudulent documents? Yeah, that's in India. Country code. That's India. Contact them. But hey, there's no fraud. There's no fraud going on. These are just people in search of a better life. These are just people who are here to, just to live the American dream. I mean, they're going to bring a cow in their house and have the cow pee and poop in it, according to the tips that I've been getting. But other than that, they just want part of the American dream. Now, remember earlier this week, the New York Times called me racist for exposing this. Like, this was just the other day. There was a hit piece against me. Now, they didn't want it. I was a conservative content creator. They didn't want to name me because they didn't want more people to see it. How the visa debate for foreign workers fuels racism against South Asians. A dispute over the impact of H-1B visas on U.S. workers has been overshadowed by racist rhetoric. Oh, troubling echoes of the Great Replacement conspiracy theory. The one that's happening, actually. You can drop the theory, New York Times. It's not, you can drop the conspiracy and you can drop, well, it is a conspiracy. You guys are the ones conspiring, not us. Conspiracy theory, it is no more. It is a Great Replacement conspiracy where all of the globalists want to bring in all of these people, all of these foreigners who refuse to assimilate while they are opening up our borders, while they are, hello, everyone is looking around them. Everyone's communities are changing. Of course it is the Great Replacement. And it is a conspiracy. It's just you guys are the people who are conspiring, not us. We're trying to stop it. And I know that's why you hate us so much and you want to call us racist. Well, on that topic, I want to share an email that I got from an Indian viewer who, if you're watching today, hello. I'm also doing racism wrong. I said earlier President Trump is doing racism wrong. I'm also doing racism really wrong because this email says, your investigation into the H-1B visa scam is absolutely award-winning journalism. I am East Indian, born in India. I legally immigrated to Canada in 1973. I am not a racist. You have exposed a very shocking scam carried out by East Indians. I am totally disgusted with such corrupt behavior by my own people. You have called out the scam for what it is, fraud. I believe that every one of the H-1B visa scammers, including anyone who benefited from the scam, ought to be held accountable with serious penalties and definite deportation. Additionally, all companies who participated in the scam must also be held accountable. Excellent work, Sara. You have put all the so-called expert investigative journalists to shame. The article in the New York Times regarding this issue is a disgrace. Most importantly, you have single-handedly uncovered and documented massive H-1B visa fraud in the U.S. Keep up the good work. I find your commentary very honest and to the point. Maybe you should consider running for Congress. Sincerely, an East Indian immigrant and a Canadian citizen. Every day, my inbox is flooded with emails just like this from Indians. It's not racist. By the way, I don't know. I get that you should run for Congress all the time. I just don't know if I am glutton for punishment that much. I don't know if I hate myself enough to run for Congress. Boy, that's a job. But I'll never say never. It's just difficult to say. So bringing in foreign, cheaper workers is one part of the issue. The other are these huge companies that are prioritizing profit and hurting Americans in the process. And I hear you guys. I hear you. Because you will email me and you will say, well, don't tell them to stop the H-1Bs because then instead of, if we don't have the H-1B program, they're just going to offshore and outsource all of their workers. And then it's just going to take more American jobs. Well, I think we can work on both at the same time. But I do understand your concern. Let's take Amazon. The other day, they laid off 16,000 workers. Now, they said that the layoffs, here it is, Bloomberg, Amazon says layoffs are due to AI. The data says offshoring. Now, that graph shows the percentage of new job posting that are located in offshore countries. As you can see, they're going up and up and up while they kill thousands of American jobs. And here's another one. Amazon to invest additional $35 billion in India by 2030, taking total planned spending to $75 billion. And I saw this video of these Indian Amazon workers celebrating. There they are. That's great. Working hard, you know? They are excited about, all of this cash influx. Not a lot. Now, listen, if you don't get your Prime delivery, if you don't get your 2-day delivery, this might be why. I don't know. They don't look like they're working very hard over there. I don't think they're working very hard over there, and you're suffering for it on both ends, the front and the back end. And this is why we are working so hard to reform the system. We'll have more on that very, very soon. I want to thank our sponsor, SelectQuote. So life insurance is one of those things. Everyone knows, like, you need life insurance. If you have a family, especially, you don't want to leave your family with nothing, but you don't like to think about it because it's like, it's weird and morbid to be like, but what happens when I die? But you really need to, because the worst thing in the world would be that you die and you leave your family with nothing. And then they have to deal with going on without you and also trying to figure out how to make ends meet. That's where SelectQuote makes a real difference. They've got these licensed agents that work to actually tailor a plan for you, not just a one-size-fits-all. And they want it to fit your health, your needs, and your budget. It's very, very quick, 15 minutes. And by the way, even if you have a pre-existing condition, they still work with carriers who can give you solid, affordable coverage. Get the right life insurance for you for less and save more than 50% off at selectquote.com/Sara. You can save more than 50% off on term life insurance at selectquote.com/Sara. Another example of a go woke, go broke, we have Democrat-run cities that are now driving away sports teams because they are being run into the ground. They're doing everything they can to protect illegals instead of the people who live there. Their homeless epidemics are through the roof. It's not safe in the streets. People can't park their car and walk to the stadium without being, in fear of being accosted. It's really, really disturbing what is happening in all of these Democrat-run cities. Let me give you a very specific example. Chicago. Now they're scaring off the Bears. Yeah, I made the joke. Chicago Bears and Indiana lawmakers take big step towards a new stadium in Indiana. Now, this is not a done deal, but it's looking likely. So the franchise said, we don't like it here. We need to go somewhere else. The Indiana Bears doesn't have the same ring, really. And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, who, by the way, I told everyone when he was running, it was like, yeah, I get it. He's like maybe a little different, a little less radical leftist. He's still a radical leftist, guys. Don't be fooled. He nearly broke down in tears when he heard the news, and he was like begging the Bears to stay or some of that.
Is my face straight? Okay. All right, keep a straight face here. The Bears belong in the city of Chicago. The Chicago Bears belong in the city of Chicago, right? And I've said repeatedly that the door is always open for conversations, Kevin Warren did call me yesterday. We didn't get a chance to connect, and I still firmly believe that their best position is in Chicago, and it's evidence.
I bet you do.
The evidence is clearly speaking for itself.
Is it? I don't know, but I can't wait to ask my friend, Jason Whitlock. He's the host of Fearless with Jason Whitlock. It airs on BlazeTV every day. You can find him as well as YouTube. Jason, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm perfect for this topic.
I know.
I really am. I'm from Indiana. Got friends from Chicago. Kevin Warren, who Brandon Johnson just referenced, is the president of the Bears, and he was the first agent I ever had.
Shut up.
Yes. So I've known Kevin Warren forever.
That's so funny.
And the Kansas City Chiefs, where I spent 16 years as a sports writer in Kansas City, they just announced in the past couple of months they're moving from Missouri over to Kansas. So this is not the first time NFL teams are switching states.
Wow. Well, I mean, do you think that it is my theory correct here that it's how they run the cities that runs these franchises out of out of town?
Incompetence will bite you in the rear end. And so let's take the Kansas City Chiefs that are leaving Missouri and moving over to Kansas. They really didn't want to do it, but it was run politically in an incompetent manner in, I think, I just screwed up the name, but Jackson County. Jackson County over in Missouri screwed it up and opened the door for Kansas to steal the Chiefs. The incompetence in Chicago has opened the door for Indiana and Northern Indiana to steal the Chicago Bears. People up in Northern Indiana, they are hardcore Bears fans. They'll still be called the Chicago Bears. It's a natural. They draw a lot of their fan base from that area because you got to remember, Sarah, the Indianapolis Colts only moved to the state of Indiana in 1984 and 1985, my senior year of high school. So I'm not a hardcore Colts fan at all. And grew up watching a lot of Chicago Bears games in Indianapolis. And so incompetence will crack a door for the more competent to come in and take advantage.
Yeah, I totally agree. So do you think there's going to be a trend now in the future of other sports franchises moving out of these crime-ridden or incompetent run? Typically, I'm just going to go ahead and say, you don't have to agree with me, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and say these incompetent run cities usually are blue, usually are Democrat run. I know.
Yeah, I think that without question, they're run by Democrats. Yeah.
Yeah, well, because you see even
crime-ridden, run by Democrats.
Yep.
Other priorities other than taking care of the city, worried about making sure that illegal immigrants have a place, a safe, warm, fuzzy place to stay and to be housed. Yeah, they have other priorities other than running their cities in a competent fashion.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings of some of the Dallas teams, whether it be the Mavericks or the Cowboys are already gone, but AT&T, these large corporations are all trying to move out of Dallas and into the suburbs because they don't like the way Dallas is run anymore. And by the way, the mayor claims that he's a newfound Republican or something, but it's the same song and dance with these cities.
Yeah, quite frankly, they want to move in safer areas. They want their stadiums located in environments where it's easy to build business and other entertainment around those areas that's safe for not locals, tourists, whomever. Yeah, these major cities. There's a price to pay for having your city run in an incompetent left-wing progressive way, and Chicago may pay the ultimate price. I mean, the Bears, they'll still call themselves the Chicago Bears, but imagine them being in Indiana rather than anywhere close to one of the allegedly greatest cities in America.
Yeah, it's wild. So are you for them moving to Indiana? It sounds like you are.
I'm for consequences for incompetence.
Okay.
And so I'm for that. I don't think this is great for the NFL. I don't think this is, great for longtime Chicago Bears fans. But look, man, we just had a Super Bowl that San Francisco, and they no longer play in San Francisco. The game, I think, was in Santa Clara, hour and a half away. This is kind of the trend in the National Football League. I think Major League Baseball has some of this as well. This isn't brand new.
Yeah. Which is while we're on the topic of football, I have to ask you while I have you here. I am in Dallas and I have the displeasure of being raised as a Cowboys fan. And I just, Steven and I have kind of given up on them. We try not to even, my heart's not in it. I'm not invested. I'm tired of losing. And we talk often about whether or not it's going to get better with, Jerry Jones. I don't know. He might live till he's 250 just to spite everyone. But once he passes, which is obviously very sad and tragic, nobody likes lost life, blah, 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 blah. But I argue that when he puts his son in charge, still nothing is going to change and we're just going to be forever doomed. Do you agree with me?
Well, businesses that generally are handed down to the kids normally fail. And so things can get worse. Jerry is out here trying. Look, Jerry's daughter is going to be a key player in that as well.
Yeah.
And so is Steven going to do a better job than Jerry? I doubt it. History says no. If you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've been held by the Rooney family for a long time. And it peaked with the original Art Rooney. And now that it's been given to our son, I think maybe grandchildren are involved now. Steelers just don't win like they used to. They haven't won a playoff game in, I think, more than a decade. So no, I would not be super optimistic that Stephen Jones will do a better job than Jerry Jones.
Okay. Well, I
think you should appreciate. I think you should appreciate Jerry Jones.
Really?
And I say that in all sincerity.
Really?
He's trying. He may be doing silly things. He may be doing ineffective things, but at least he's trying. Some of these guys, did you just hear Mark Cuban basically defend tanking and just acknowledging that, like, they're talking about, he still owns a percentage of the Dallas Mavericks,
Yeah.
but a lot of these professional sports league owners, they're not even trying. They're just collecting the money. At least Jerry wants to win.
That's true.
He doesn't just want to get richer.
No, that's true. He does want to win. He's just really terrible at the decisions that he's making in order to win. So it's just frustrating. Jason, tell everyone where they can find you if they are not following you already, which I'm sure that they are, but just in case, let them know.
Please follow me at Twitter at Whitlock Jason. Follow me on Instagram at The Real Jason Whitlock. Thank you so much for having me on, Sarah.
Yeah.
Please invite me back.
I will.
And I'll be more than happy to join you.
I will. I would love to. The man, the myth, the legend, Jason Whitlock. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back. Oh, boy. there is someone out there who is having a really bad birthday today, and that is ex-Prince Andrew was arrested on his birthday today over Epstein allegations. Yep, that is, boy, to add insult to injury. They're like, we're going to arrest him and we're going to do it on his birthday. And I just have to say, for the record, I don't love the police over in the UK. Like, I have major issues with how they are abusing their power to crack down on free speech. But solid move. I see you guys, and I appreciate that. Now, I do realize that it was President Trump's release of the documents that forced them to make a move, that pushed them to happen. This was something that everyone knew was happening in broad daylight for many, many years. Nobody wanted to say anything about it. Nobody wanted to do anything about it. And apparently, King Charles didn't even know the police were about to arrest the prince, ex-prince, whatever you want to call him. And he released a statement. He said, I have learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. So he doesn't even want to call him Prince Andrew. He doesn't want to be like, hey, Andy over there. He's like, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and suspicion of misconduct in public office. What now follows is the full, fair, and proper process by which this issue is investigated in the appropriate manner and by the appropriate authorities. In this, as I have said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state this clearly. The law must take its course. And he says he has no further comment on the matter, and his family and he will continue in duty and service to all. In duty and service to all. If only Matt Marsden was here to judge my English accent. But it is frustrating. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm glad that President Trump's releasing of the documents has happened and has led to this. But you've got people in this country who are ready. We are ready for accountability in this country. Who is next? Who's the next domino to fall? The UK already started. How much longer is it going to take here in America? I am all for you guys making sure you have all your ducks in a row before you move on this to make sure that it's a slam dunk case. But we've got a list of people who we know are all over the Epstein files, and none of it is good. You got Bill Clinton. I mean, like, I could do an entire show on all of the Bill Clinton allegations. Now we see him all over the Epstein files. You've got Bill Gates, who was out there. I mean, the Russian girls, I don't know. Were they underage? We need to know. Like, we need actual real life responsibility and accountability for the really bad people in this country who were participating in what seems to be rituals, sometimes with babies. When is that happening? It has to. If the UK over there with their like shitty police force can go out and arrest an ex-prince, I think that we can be looking at, I'm looking at you, Bill Clinton. I think we can be looking into that. I believe in our ability. Come on, Pam Bondi. Knock, knock. Are you there? Now's the time. Don't let the UK beat us on this issue. We need arrests now.